What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. For today's video I'm going to be doing a breakdown slash review of Marvel's Shang-Chi. I got a chance to go watch it last night and it was absolutely amazing. There is a lot to break down in terms of Easter eggs and different specific scenes throughout the movie that were pretty relevant, and although I only got a chance to watch it once, I'm going to do my best to try to do it in a chronological order. But I will also be talking about key things that the movie did from a production standpoint that I thought worked really well for me and why I feel like the movie deserved as much praise as I give it. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So right out of the gate, we get the opening scene with the Mandarin. It's on the ancient battlefield. He has already established the 10 rings as the army or whatever. You see the flag has the logo on there, and he goes to try to take out the other army and their fortress. It just showcased how much of a badass he is and how ruthless he is, considering he has these 10 rings and it gives him all these powers that really allow him to be the conqueror that he wants to be, and he feels like he's on top of the world and that nobody and nothing can stop him. For number 2, it is specifically about a production detail that they did, and that was their use of flashbacks. I thought they did a phenomenal job in using the flashbacks to really propel the character's character development. We got a chance to see flashbacks for the Mandarin, especially when he was with his wife, and then obviously Shang-Chi and also his sister Xiling. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Let me know in the comments if I'm pronouncing that right, but you know, I'll just refer to her as Shang-Chi's sister. But they used all those flashbacks to explain pivotal points in their life that really propelled them to the characters that they are today. For example, Shang-Chi, his whole story was trying to escape the destiny that his father had pushed on him. So you see different key moments in his childhood where he realizes like he wants to be more than just a assassin that his father trained him to be. Where on the flip side of the coin, his sister was left in the shadows, not allowed to train, and because of that she became even more ruthless and wanted to study the arts of martial art in order to become even better than Shang-Chi ever was or ever could be or whatever, you know. So big props to them for that. So with that, let's move down to number 3. For number 3, it is the scene we have, the first fight scene we get with Shang-Chi on the bus, and that entire fight scene I thought was so dope, especially because this was the first time we see him being showcased. I know we saw some of it in the trailer, but it was the fact that he had been living his own life, really not trying to showcase any of his martial arts techniques or skills because he wanted to conceal his identity, and when push comes to shove, he had to come out and whip everybody's ass. And I thought the stunt choreography and the fight sequences, all that right in the very beginning of this movie really set it up for its success because it just got better from that point on. For number 4, it is revolved around my girl Katie. Katie is just an innocent bystander who got strung along for all this bullshit, and she is living her best life through it and still cracking jokes. So shout out to her. I think she did a phenomenal job as a supporting character for Shang-Chi's main character. Next scene, we move over to the battle in the Fight Club, I guess we can call it. Shang-Chi pulls up with Katie, and we see Abomination and Wong are fighting. Special effects on Abomination look absolutely dope. He looks like he leveled up from the first time we saw him in The Incredible Hulk, the first movie back in 2008 or 2009 or whatever, and he has his more comic book accurate, like scaly, fishy looking appearance. And that fight, although it was only like a minute and a half or whatever, I thought it was so dope how Wong took the hit and he said, "You want to see how that feels? Open up the portal." Boom, got his ass. It came in from one side and he basically just knocked himself out, and Abomination ended up playing himself. And then it moved into the fight between Shang-Chi and Xiling, his sister, and you can see that Shang-Chi was pulling his punches and his sister was not, and this just goes to show how much of the character development there is for each of them, because Shang-Chi doesn't want to be this assassin. He's trying to avoid that lifestyle and really push back on his destiny, whereas his sister is willing to do whatever it takes to really show her worth, I guess we can say. So with that, let's move down to part number 6. They make it back to the Mandarin's compound, and he does the explanation on why he brought them together, why he wanted their necklaces and the jades that were in there. Turns out to be the eyes of the dragon. He puts it in the statue, and it makes a water PowerPoint presentation. And I thought the special effects looked absolutely dope. The slow motion, the water droplets in the air floating, they came down on the ground, and then they showed the path to the gate to Tao Lao, I think it's called. And that was a great explanation to the story, explaining and tying it all together in the sense that we are now understanding what the Mandarin's motive is, why he wanted his kids there, and the whole MacGuffin of the story. For number 7, Shang, Katie, and his sister, they get locked up because they are trying to rebel when the Mandarin says that he will burn the city down if they do not give him back his dead wife that he still believes is trapped over there. They try to get pushback, and he says, when are you guys going to stop pretending? When are you going to realize you are ruthless assassins, ruthless warriors like I've trained you to be, and you're nothing more than that? And during this captivity is when we find and we stumble across my boy Trevor, the fake Mandarin from Iron Man 3, who personally, like Haiti, I think he might be like the sleeper MVP of this movie, because as soon as he came into the scenes, the comedic value just went skyrocketed, even to the point when we all left the movie last night. We came back together and we talked about how this was one of the more funnier, if not the funniest Marvel movie to date. For number 8, they all escape. Shang, Katie, Trevor, and Xiling, they all leave, and they make it into Tao Lao. And the opening portal scene, when they're able to drive through the dimensions and show up over there, was just absolutely gorgeous. This entire location that we've never been to just reminded me so much of like Middle Earth from Godzilla vs. Kong, and that whole like atmosphere, everything. It was just like a completely different location that we have never been to within the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And it just goes to show, for me at least, that Marvel will continue to bring out new content for us, and it doesn't get oversaturated, and we have all these new locations we can go to. And even within this new location that they went to, when they were getting the explanation from Shang-Chi's mom's sister, his aunt, I think her name was Nan, she was saying that there was gorgeous cities throughout all of that dimension, and they were very technologically advanced and blah blah blah. So like there's just so many places that they can go within this location, in this dimension, and I'm here for it. I thought the special effects looked great. The creatures in there, like those big ass like lion things, I'm all for it. So keep it up, guys. You guys know what you're doing, and I'm not even gonna question it at this point. So with that, let's move down to number 9. For number 9, we have basically the entire third act. The Mandarin shows up to Tao Lao. He's like, release my wife. I'm here to get her. And it's just this never-ending battle. You have the battle between the Mandarin's troops and the Tao Laoians or whatever. I literally just invented that, so I'm gonna go with it. Then you have the battle between Shang-Chi and the Mandarin. And then you have the part when the soul suckers come out, the dragon comes out. Like the entire third act felt to me like a mini Endgame. It was just so much happening, and I was all for all of it, because every individual fight scene and every individual scene that was showcased had a lot of really great stunt choreography, really great special effects, and I was getting goosebumps just watching Shang-Chi fight his dad. And then when he starts to like absorb the rings and try to learn to control them on his own, I was like, all right, now my boy's gonna turn it up a notch, and his dad's not gonna make it. So let me know what you guys thought about that final battle. What was your favorite part? with that, let's move down to the last part of this breakdown. The post-credit scene, baby. So for this post-credit scene, in all honesty, I think the first one we saw where Wong is talking to Shang-Chi, Katie, Bruce Banner, and Captain Marvel are all there having that conversation about the 10 rings and the origin of them and how it's technically like a beacon for some kind of transmitter. I personally believe that was the best post-credit scene in all of the MCU. To this day, I honestly have no other post-credit scene that I think I was so hyped for, so confused for. So many questions came out of that one post-credit scene, and then to be followed up on with the post-credit scene that Shang-Chi's sister is now the new head of the 10 rings and that they will return. Like, goddamn, man. They have just set up so much in this movie that I'm here for it all. I appreciate all of it, and I cannot wait to see the sequels, spin-offs, whatever the hell they end up doing when the time comes that Shang-Chi has to interact with the mainstream Avengers. Like, let's just go. I'm all in for Shang-Chi. And like I said, this is probably one of my top 5 Marvel movies now in terms of ranking. I got Endgame as my number 1, Infinity War is number 2, Civil War is number 3, 4 is probably Black Panther, and then 5 is Shang-Chi. And honestly, it's really neck and neck. It really just comes down to like minute details and, you know, how much I feel like I can relate to each character. But overall, guys, I thought this movie was absolutely phenomenal. Let me know what you guys thought. What was your favorite part? What questions do you guys have? I have a separate video coming out after this because there's so much to talk about of all my questions that'll be coming out 2 days after this video. So keep an eye out on that. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, you can best support the channel by leaving a like, sharing, and subscribing. If you want to personally chat with me, you can follow me at Mr. Jalapeno 13 on Instagram. And I'm trying something new here, something a little shorter. You can also follow me on TikTok at JabJala13. I'm gonna start doing videos on there too, trying to keep it like the content I have on here, just a little bit more condensed. That's all I have for today, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. Take care.